Today, we are going to talk about incorporating evidence and constructing a body paragraph for a lit analysis essay. So I've gone and taken the first two paragraphs of a lit analysis essay from a student. We have the first intro paragraph, and then we have the first body paragraph, and we're going to focus down here. We need the intro paragraph, though, so that we can take a look at this author's thesis statement. And they say, by using the literary elements, dialogue, imagery, and motifs, Anderson shows us isolation may last a while, but it's not forever. So that helps us to understand what they're writing about. Their theme is that isolation is not something that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. They're saying, talking about the theme of isolation, and then the literary elements that they're going to focus on are dialogue, imagery, and motifs. This one's about dialogue and the things that the main character says. So let's just jump into this body paragraph. So the first sentence, having conversations with others is important. Conversations help you make friends and become more happy. This is a transition sentence. This author understands that we need to lead the reader and guide the reader into our paragraphs, just like we need to do that at the beginning of the paper. We need to ease the reader in. And so they're transitioning from the intro paragraph into this body paragraph. Then this author begins to prep for their first quotation from the novel. So the conversations in Speak help us to see how Melinda has been very isolated, for she doesn't talk much at all. Melinda likes to speak in her head. She doesn't express her emotions externally with words often. So it's helping us to understand what's going on in the book so that we get the quote. We then also have this transition phrase to lead in. So she states, Melinda states. So then here's the quote. Note that they use quotation marks, and it's several sentences, which is fine. They also have a comma here at the end. Even though in the text this would be a period, we change it to a comma because this is not the end of our sentence. It's the end of the sentence in the book, but not the end of our sentence. And then at the end, we have an in-text citation. We have the author's last name, the page number, and then note that the period for that sentence goes at the end of the in-text citation because that's the end of their sentence rather than over here. This in-text citation is critical. You have to have it or else you're engaging in unintentional plagiarism. And you have to make sure that the reader knows where you're getting the quote from and what the author is, what the page number is. Then this author decides that they're going to prep for a quote again. And so they begin prepping for a quote. Here's the quote, and then here's the in-text citation. This one's a little different. The sentence ends over here because they add a little something afterwards, which is fine. All this leads to their analysis for theme after all of that. So this helps us to understand the theme because in her little chat in her head, she's even isolating herself by comparing herself to a rabid dog or a horrible monster. People can be very mean for horrid reasons. So it's not the greatest analysis, but they do have that quote sandwich formula going on. So they are prepping for a quote, they're delivering a quote, they are citing the quote, and then they're analyzing, which is our PEA format. And then he just repeats that over again and has several more quotes and several more pieces of analysis. So this is how we incorporate evidence because we want to show them the actual quotation from the story or the novel and then analyze that quotation and talk about how it helps us to understand whatever we're talking about, the theme of the book. So hopefully this helps you as you are writing lit analysis and you're trying to incorporate evidence and lead towards your analysis in your body paragraphs.